What's up, everyone? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy. And welcome to this review of this DC Direct DC Origins Series 2 Action Figure 2-pack of Green Lanterns, Alan Scott, and Hal Jordan. The front bottom of the package says DC Origins Green Lantern. The sides of the packages feature classic images of Alan Scott and Hal Jordan. Although the packaging obscures the lower bodies of the figures, they are mostly visible through the front window, as are their accessories and the trading card in the background. These are collector-centric figures, and they are intended for those ages 14 and up. And now let's bust open this package and see what's inside. Here's a look at the card that comes with the figures. And it's more of a playing card than a trading card in terms of the style. But as you can see, Alan is on one side and Hal is on the other. The figures come with these round peg bases. They are primarily black, and they say DC 75 in white and blue paint on the front. Here is Alan Scott's battery, and of course you can see the similarities here to old-style railroad lamps. And here is Hal Jordan's battery. Of course, this is much more of the standard modern Green Lantern personal power battery. You can see that the handle moves on this battery, and it also has this beautiful metallic finish. Both of the batteries are comic accurate. And here we see Alan Scott, the Golden Age titular Green Lantern, along with Hal Jordan, the Silver Age titular Green Lantern. These figures are very different in terms of body mold and articulation, so let's have a closer look at the loose details now. So here is Alan Scott, and as you can see, the cape is removable. And we get these sculpted boots. I believe that this is simply a repaint of the first appearance Alan Scott from DC Direct. And as you can see, there are plenty of wrinkles sculpted into the hip area of both the front and the back of the figure. The torso has been sculpted in such a way to look like it is covered by a dress shirt. And that is accurate to the original Martin Nodell design. Here's a close-up of the chest symbol, and it is not sculpted, it is just paint. And while it's not exactly like the original comic book design, it is very similar. Here's a close-up of the ring, and although my figure's hand has some sloppy paint applications, the ring itself has been sculpted quite well. The ring is raised over the finger. It's a good overall size, and you can clearly see the lantern style sculpting on this ring. This is quite impressive for a figure from 15 years ago. Here's a close-up of the head sculpt, and you can see the edges of this domino style mask, including this strap that goes all the way around the head, and that is accurate to the original appearances of Alan Scott in All-American Comics. And this wavy blonde hair is accurate for the character as well. So the cape on the first appearance Alan Scott, I believe, was cloth. This one is not. However, you can see the green paint on the front, and there's a dark purple on the back, and this slips easily on and off of the figure. Now let's have a look at the Hal Jordan figure. And one of the things that jumps out at me at first is that the legs look a little thin, especially in the calf area. You can see that that looks a little disproportionate, although I do like the metallic green paint choice. I'm also not a fan of this weird Y crotch. There's a Jon Stewart DC Direct figure that has the same problem, and I'm not sure why it's cut so unevenly. Now let's have a look at the torso. Once again, we get a painted chest symbol, and I really appreciate the sculpting on this figure. He's very muscular and defined, but he's not so jacked that he doesn't look like Hal Jordan. We get green shoulders contrasted with very dark gray sections, as you can see here. Here's a look at the definition in the latissimus dorsi and the trapezius. And the green and gray sections are only separated by paint. There is no sculpting, so I would have appreciated that. And now let's have a look at the ring. It's certainly a mixed bag. It is a raised, sculpted section. However, there is an absence of detail. Looking at the side view here, it's obviously undersized and the paint application is fairly sloppy. DC Direct certainly could have put in a little more effort in this area. Now let's look at the head sculpt, and there's very little to criticize here. I like the way that the hair spills over the forehead, as well as the shape and size of the mask. I appreciate the white eyes, and the skin tone on this head sculpt is a little more realistic than that of Alan Scott. And the paint applications are precise in this area as well. Now let's have a look at articulation. Let me emphasize, be very careful with old DC Direct figures. This is a single pin knee joint, and the figure can kick forward this far from the hip. It cannot step back. There's no articulation in the waist or the upper torso. There's also no articulation in the wrists, which would have been very helpful for holding the accessory, of course. We get single pin elbows, and the figure's arms cannot be lifted outward. They can do a 360, as you can see here. The head looks easily from side to side. There's up and down motion, which is a little better than I expected, and there is a minimal amount of head tilting. As we look at Hal Jordan, the feet rotate at the top of the boots. Once again, we get single pin knees. The figure can kick forward this far with both legs. But unlike the Alan Scott figure, this figure can step back considerably. Once again, there's no articulation in the torso. However, there is rotation at the top of the gloves. This figure also has single pin elbows, and these are pretty tight on my figure. However, at least this figure can hold the personal power battery, and the arms can be lifted out at the shoulder joints, and they also do a 360. The head moves easily from side to side. There's moderate up and down movement, and there is an ample amount of head tilting. I hope that you enjoyed this review. If so, please subscribe to this channel and also check out the rest of my Green Lantern playlists. And until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.